Hi, this is Mike. This presentation's on Dual Relationships Code of Ethics. What are ethics? Ethics are generally regarded as the standards that govern the conduct of a person, human reflecting self-consciously on the act of being a moral being. This implies the process of self-reflection, awareness, and how to behave as a moral being. What are the code of ethics on dual relationships? This occurs when a professional has a second different relationship with a client or someone closely associated with the client simultaneously or consecutively alongside their professional role. These additional relationships can be personal, social, financial, or business related. Such dual relationships can create conflicts of interest and potentially harm the client, leading to ethical concerns. Examples: 1. A therapist may become a client's friend, business partner, or romantic interest. 2. Attending a client's social event, interacting with a client on social media, or being in the same small community with limited choices for services. 3. A client is also a friend, family member, or even a relative of the professional. 4. A therapist connects with a client on social media sites, creating an additional layer of non-professional connection. 5. A therapist also supervises a client's development, works in the same institution, i.e. school or hospital, or serves on the medial collegial role alongside their clinical one. Potential harm. Dual relationships can create conflicts of interest, impair professional judgment, blur boundaries, and potentially harm the client. Power imbalances, exploitation, role confusion, impaired professional judgment, confidentiality breaches, and conflict of interest. Personal involvement can cloud a person's objectivity and decision-making abilities. Maintaining privacy becomes more challenging, and a dual relationship professional interest can conflict with clients' needs. Ethic codes. Ethic codes for professional organizations like the American Psychological Association, American Counseling Association, and the National Association of Social Workers generally prohibit dual relationships when risk harming a client or compromising professional objectivity. These codes advocate for clear, consistent professional boundaries to protect clients, especially from exploitation, with prohibitions on sexual relationships with clients or former clients. For professionals working in small rural communities, dual relationships may sometimes be unavoidable, require careful consideration of context, informed consent, and ongoing consultation to minimize harm. Unavoidable dual relationships. In some settings, i.e. small communities, dual relationships may be unavoidable, but ethical guidelines emphasize the importance of prioritizing client welfare, risk assessment, informed consent, and seeking supervision. An unavoidable dual relationship occurs when a therapist has a secondary role with a client, such as being a neighbor in a small town, that is difficult to avoid due to the context. These relationships require careful management of boundaries and transparency with clients to ensure the professional relationship remains ethical and does not lead to exploitation or harm. They are common in small communities, spiritual settings, and some sports psychology contexts, necessitating specific ethical considerations beyond what might be expected in a large metropolitan area. Managing dual relationships. When dual relationships unavoidable arise, professionals are expected to implement safeguards such as setting clear boundaries, obtaining informed consent documentation, documenting the situation, and seeking supervision. To manage dual relationships in counseling, a therapist should prioritize the client's well-being, set and maintain clear boundaries, engage in ongoing reflect practice, seek the consultation of supervision, obtain informed consent, and be prepared for the refer the client if the dual relationship compromises therapy. Transparency, careful documentation, and thorough understanding of ethical guidelines are essential for navigating the complexities and potential risks involved. Last slide. Specific prohibitions. In counseling, sexual or romantic with the current clients are always strictly prohibited due to the inherent risk of exploitation and harm. Beyond this universal ban, the other types of dual relationships are not always forbidden, but are heavily restricted and require careful ethical consideration, especially if they risk impairing the counselor's judgment or exploiting the client. Professional codes of ethics prohibit or strongly caution against specific dual relationships with current clients. 1. Sexual romantic relationships. They are strictly prohibited by all major codes. Ethics are often illegal. The power differential in the therapeutic relationship means a client cannot give genuine consent, such as relationships inherently exploitative. Business or financial relationships. Engaging in business ventures, hiring or borrowing money from a current client, unethical, can create significant conflict of interest. Counseling professional judgment should be compromised if they are financially entangled with the client. Close personal relationships. Having a close personal relationship with a current client, such as being a close friend or family member, is a conflict of interest and it impairs counselor objectivity and ability to provide unbiased care. Bartering for service. Trading counseling service for goods or services can be problematic due to the potential or exploitation and distorted therapeutic boundaries. And that is it for my slide. Thank you all for watching.